Hey there, welcome back to another review, and this time is for, to me, a pretty damn underrated flick that no one talks about nowadays, and that is Outbreak, starring Dustin Hoffman, Rene Russo, Morgan Freeman. You have Kevin Spacey, Cuba Jr., Donald Sutherland. You have a wonderful cast, directed by Wolfgang Petersen, who before this had done In the Line of Fire, which is a great Clint Eastwood film, and then after this did Air Force One, which is another good movie with Harrison Ford. Granted, then he did The Perfect Storm and Poseidon, and I'm not a fan of those two movies, but this is also the same guy who did Enemy Mine with Dennis Quaid. A fairly good director. Made a lot of films I enjoy, including this one. And this is when Ebola was a scare, and then I know at times that sort of scare comes back with Ebola, the Ebola virus. But for the movie they changed it to Motaba so they can work within the realms of their script. But this was at a time when two movies, well, there was this movie that was going to be made called Crisis in the Hot Zone, and that was a movie I think based on an article dealing with Ebola. Could be wrong on that. But at one point it was going to be directed by Ridley Scott, and it was going to have Robert Redford and Jodie Foster star in it. And there's a bidding war between two studios, including Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers lost. So since they lost, they said, fuck this, let's make our own movie, and they put this into a rush for production. And weirdly enough, they didn't have to do that because the other movie didn't end up happening, because one person left and the other person left and everybody left, and then that film never got made. To this day, they still haven't made that into a movie, which I'm surprised by. They did that. They did make that movie Contagion by Steven Soderbergh, which I did see, and that's a boring piece of shit film. I'm sorry. That is a boring as hell movie. I hated Contagion. I think it's awful. I think it's terrible. I fucking hate that movie. This, to me, did it much better. It was more thrilling. I liked the cast better. It was more entertaining. I like that it was based around one town, and it was the fear of it getting out. While Contagion was, oh, it's the whole world. And I can understand that because of a huge epidemic. But when you broadened it up to have a worldwide attack, then that kind of makes you think of other movies, whether it be a superhero movie, whether it be a movie like World War Z, whether it be just some other type of bigger idea. I don't know. I know it sounds stupid, but it changes things. It changes how... I can't put my finger on it, but it seemed like a scary idea that it was in this one place, and it's the fear of it getting out. I know that sounds stupid. I don't know how else to describe it. I know this film didn't do the best when it came out. I think it cost around $50 million. I don't know why it cost that much, because it doesn't look like it cost that much. But it made about 60-some million in the US and 100-some million worldwide. So at best, it was a minor hit. Critics were not the biggest fans of it. I know they liked Contagion a lot, but they didn't like this. I know Roger Ebert did like it. On Siskel and Ebert, he argued with Siskel, and Roger Ebert thought this was a good movie, and I agree. And I don't think this film is out on Blu-ray in the US, because I would look and there'd be a Blu-ray dubbed in Spanish. I'm like, what? Here's a Blu-ray, and that's overseas, which is this. And you need a region-free Blu-ray player to play this. So, as far as I know, could be wrong, but as far as I know, this is not out on Blu-ray in the US. Only on DVD. And that's probably a part of the reason why this film doesn't get talked about a lot, because you can only find it on a DVD, and although it should be talked about more. It's a good thriller, has some has a great idea, has a wonderful cast. Dustin Hoffman is a badass. This is one of my favorite roles from him. I mean, when he's talking with Morgan Freeman, who's his general, and he's like, well, we're doing it. And Dustin Hoffman's like, no, we're not doing it, because I just drove through a group of people. If one of them's got it, then 10 of them's got it, then we're in deep fucking shit. We're already in deep fucking shit. That scene is one of my favorites of this. It just showed, because I like Dustin Hoffman as an actor. I like all the president, what's it? Yeah, all the President's Men, Kramer versus Kramer. I haven't seen. I remember not minding Marathon Man. It being okay, but I need to watch that again. But I like Dustin Hoffman as an actor, and it was very rare to see him in this kind of movie. He pulled it off very, very well. He's very likable. He's a good character. Good character. If you wonder that physical reaction I had, one, it was a burp, so sorry. Second, it made me think of the makeup effects when people have this Motaba virus. It's really good makeup effects, and you really feel bad for the people. And this is a type of virus that will kill you pretty much in 24 hours. Rene, Russo, and Dustin Hoffman used to be together, but they're on the outs. Morgan Freeman is a friend of Dustin Hoffman, but he's sort of the head guy. And the other head guy is Sutherland, who usually plays a pretty damn good villain. Cuba Jr., an early role for him as I'll call him sort of a rookie, and he's a pilot. Kevin Spacey is another one of the doctors, people who study viruses, who is friends with Dustin Hoffman. And the gist of the story, there was this virus, Motaba in Africa in the 60s, and Morgan Freeman, Donald Sutherland's characters visited, and they say, yeah, we're going to get you help, but then they destroy the camp. That was always a scene I remember, when I first saw it, because like the look on the guy's face when they're thinking supplies, and just sort of this realization of he knows they're fucked. And then the whole camp blows up. And then modern time, one thing leads to another, and it's this monkey being caught, go from A to B. Patrick Dempsey's in the film for a little bit. He works something out, sneaks the monkey out to his pet shop, and then that guy gets cut on the arm, and then Patrick Dempsey can't sell it, so he lets it out into the wild, and just how people get sick. Patrick Dempsey gets sick, the guy in the pet shop gets sick, then one of the doctors gets sick, and how ultimately it results in this small town having a quarantine, and this group of people trying to figure out how to stop this virus, where did it come from, what the host of the virus is, where the host of the virus is. And meanwhile, the government are planning on maybe to decimate this town with a bomb, and then it's a race against time. And this is a 2-hour movie. I didn't get bored with it. It was well directed by Wolfgang Petersen. Dustin Hoffman's character's got some humor that works for the film. Like him and Rene Russo are on the outs, but they have these dogs, and who's going to take the dogs? A little bit of funny moment at the beginning where he's cleaning his dogs. He gets a phone call. His dogs have gone on to the couch. Okay, who disobeyed me first? See, you look very guilty. And that's the type of humor that works in this kind of film. Not nowadays where let's have a fart joke, let's have a fucking burp joke, let's have a puke joke. No, if you don't have humor, have easygoing humor. And then again, all these actors worked very well together. It's an excellent cast. Dustin Hoffman, Kevin Spacey, Cuba Gooding Jr., they go to this village and they see this virus has resurfaced again. They didn't know about the past, but this village is dead. You have appears by Zactus Mokai, who is the villain, and the Serpent and the Rainbow. Cuba Gooding Jr. freaks out. Thankfully, at that point, he's not airborne. But this is what I like about Dustin Hoffman's character. When they get back on the plane, the typical thing would be the guy going, "How dare you, you asshole! You could have killed us!" Blah 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 blah. But no, he treats Cuba Gooding Jr. nice. Cuba Gooding Jr. is sorry. He was scared. He apologizes, and then Dustin treats him nice. He says, "You know what? I don't want anyone working with me who isn't scared." And then Cuba Gooding just, "Well, then I'm your man, sir." And I thought it was a nice little scene between the characters. Made you like Dustin Hoffman's character even more. And there's nice little moments where, for example, when Dustin Hoffman and Kevin Spacey are talking, and Dustin Hoffman's talking, and he's complaining about something, and Kevin Spacey stops him. "Hey, there's a tear in your suit." This is before they've gone in. And then, they tape it up, and they fix it, and then Dustin Hoffman goes, "Wow, kind of takes your breath away." And even that one subtle moment shows the danger of, you need to wear these suits and the danger of working in that field. Didn't need to be overblown, didn't need to be huge, it was just subtle. And then things go apeshit, and the virus has mutated, so now it can be airborne. One scene I enjoyed was when one of the guys who's infected, they're in this movie theater, and they cough, and you see this point of view from the cough, like going to other people's throats, and it just made you uneasy with, well, that's how it would work. Makes you not want to be in the theater anytime soon. Just people coughing, just boom, right into another person's throat. And that's how the whole theater gets infected. And yeah, Dustin Hoffman throughout this film, he has a lot of nice dialogue exchanges with Morgan Freeman. It was nice to see these two great actors together. They play off each other very well. It's like, "You tell him to put me on a plane before you kill a bunch of people." Just, and then Morgan Freeman, "You know who you're talking to?" And Dustin Hoffman goes, "No, I don't know who I'm talking to, huh? Am I talking to you? If I'm talking to McClintock, Donald Sutherland's character, am I talking to the army? Who am I talking to?" Or when he's pretending, like when he's like, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna go there anyway, disobey orders," so he's gotta lie to this guy to get on a plane, and the orders change, and he says to the guy something like, "Don't mean your ass if you don't put your finger on that phone. Put your finger on the phone. Put your finger on the phone. Again, don't mean your ass if you don't put your finger on the phone." And again, it was not typical to see Dustin Hoffman in this kind of role, which was nice. It was refreshing. You didn't need an action hero guy. I love action heroes. You didn't need that. Dustin Hoffman worked well, and I wish we could have seen him in more roles like this. I really do. And again, the director does some nice shots, whether it be the POV in the movie theater, or even when Dustin Hoffman's in the town and he's in the hospital and he looks up and it's a POV of going through the vent and then going through that the vent leads to the room of sick people and the realization of this is airborne. Just, we're in deep fucking shit. We're already in deep fucking shit. I can't help it. That's my favorite line in the movie. It's something I never would think I would hear Dustin Hoffman say, but he pulled it off, and he pulled it off very well. And it shows how the government doesn't fuck around when a group of people try to break quarantine. They're ready to kill them, and they shoot up the truck. And even their own doctors, they're getting sleepy. Kevin Spacey messes up, and he gets sick. J.T. Walsh, he makes an appearance in this. Gives a pretty damn good speech. I think some of it was cut out because I remember watching the trailer, and I think part of that speech in the trailer is not in the movie. But he still gives this great speech about he's with this group of people and how there's an idea to firebomb the town. And J.T. Walsh goes, "Well, you know what? That's also an American town." Like J.T. Walsh, usually he played the bad guy. Here he wasn't really sounding like a bad guy. He was sounding like a good guy, a voice of reason going, "I want to make sure that this is the last resort because, this is not statistics." And he throws the pictures out. Those are people. And I wonder if the quote is on IMDb because J.T. Walsh, that's another actor who's no longer with us, but he, very underrated character actor, and he just had a really great speech. Yeah, he was a part of his chief of staff. Because he explains what this bomb is. This is J.T. Walsh's part of his speech. It takes the Constitution. This is the Constitution of the United States. Read it cover to cover. I don't find anything about it vaporizing 2,600 American citizens. But it does say several times that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process. So a couple of things before clean sweep is even considered. One, unanimous, if I can say the word right, unanimous, unwavering support for the president on this. And I mean public. You're going to stand there shoulder to shoulder with him. He goes down, you go down. And the second thing is I want an army of experts citing hundreds and thousands of lab experience telling any idiot with a camera that there was no other way. You got that? Huh? No member of this government is going to be sneaking off the Washington Post telling them how they were the sole voice of opposition. If there's a voice of opposition out there, I want them in here now. And then he throws the photos of the victims on the table. Those are the citizens of Cedar Creek. Go on, look at them. These are not statistics, ladies and gentlemen. They're flesh and blood. Or flesh and blood. I can't talk right today. I want you to burn those into your memories because those images should haunt us until the day we die. And yeah, J.T. Walsh did it a lot better than I could. That's why I'm not an actor. But yeah, you had some great dialogue in this movie. Wonderful performances. One thing leads to another. And it's Cuba Gooding Jr. and Dustin Hoffman going to find this virus. It was nice to see Cuba Gooding Jr. He did a good job in this movie. Nice to see him playing off of Dustin Hoffman. This is a film that I'm sure no one's asking this cast about, which is disappointing. Because it deserves to be talked about more. And again, some nice subtle humor. Like when they go there and they try to find some info. Hey, we're from the place with the virus. And then he's trying to get this guy to talk. He does something and goes, hey, is your name George? May I cough on you, George? Okay, you give me what I need. They find the boat. They find the boat where the guy had the monkey. They realize it's a monkey because they find a picture the guy had. And then they get on TV to talk to people. They find out where it's at. Yeah, this little girl, sweet little girl, she played it off very well. And Dustin Hoffman is nice to her too, because she's friends with the monkey, and she's, oh, you don't hurt it? He's like, nope. If I hurt her, she'll punch me in the nose. A serious punch. For a serious nose. So, this is easily one of my favorite roles by Dustin Hoffman. It may be my favorite role from him, because no one talks about it. People talk about many of the other roles where he's been Oscar nominated, whether it be Rain Man, whether it be all these other movies, but no one ever talks about this film, and I think he gives a great performance and a really likable character. So I would say, if I had to pick, that's my favorite role from Dustin Hoffman. They get the monkey, they capture it, they go back on a helicopter. You get some helicopter chases with real helicopters, which is cool. Sutherland tries to talk him down, and Dustin Hoffman goes, with due respect, fuck you, sir. Gives this great speech to the bombers. I wonder if that's on there too. Of course, I probably fucked that up too, but I'll see if that's on there. Because these bombers, he tries to talk them down, saying this isn't right. See. That's another fun line with Dustin Hoffman. We're fugitives of the law. Idiocy is our only option. Yeah, if one of them have it, the 10 of them have it. And if one of them leaves Cedar Creek when we're deep fucking shit, we're already deep fucking shit. Yeah, they don't have the speech on it. But you know what? Maybe that's something that if you guys decide to check out, you can find for yourself. Because I do think this is a film that deserves a lot more notice than it's gotten. Things work out well, movie ends, and you get a movie that, I know, repeating myself, but it deserves to be repeated because not many people have reviewed this movie, except I think my friend Mike OCP, and actually my friend Mike and I did a commentary a long time ago on his channel on this movie. And sadly, that was a time when I had not seen this movie in forever because I had the DVD, and it's one of those cheap Warner Brothers DVDs, and it wasn't even out on Blu-ray. But even so, I wasn't so fresh as I am on it now. But again, for those interested, if I remember, I'll put the link down below if you want to listen to that commentary. Great cast, as I think it's a thrilling movie that goes at a good pace. Some very fun lines of dialogue. Fast paced. I would call it fast paced. It's not an action movie. There's a little bit of action, like a chopper chase, but it's not an action movie. But still, it's a good idea of a virus getting loose that is handled, I think, very well. It's an underrated film. The music fits the film. It wasn't out of place. I think people always remember the monkey part of Outbreak. I think he even had a reference in the Clerks cartoon. This is one of those movies that I don't know if it'll ever get the attention it deserves, but you know what? Sometimes that's how it goes. I think Outbreak is a damn good thriller. I think that'd be the best word to call it, thriller. Kept me interested to see what was going to happen next. I think the dialogue is well written. The characters are likable. Dustin Hoffman, again, I would say my favorite role from him, playing something a bit different than he usually does. With capable support with people like Morgan Freeman, Rene, Russo. Kevin Spacey, the little bits that he has a good sense of humor, his character. It's a good medical steer movie. Outbreak. As anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.